What's up, everybody? I'm Nick the Comic Nerd, and I have with me today Ben, the Attention Seeking Geek. We're going to do Origins episode 6. It's been a 2 or 3 week hiatus between Memorial Day. I ended up working. I worked another Monday. But we're back. I've been talking to Ben about doing this for a long time, and I'm super stoked to have him here. And this is almost the end of my UK invasion kind of deal going. So, Ben, how we doing?
I'm good. Yeah, nearly the end of your UK features, which means that I'm one of the last ones that you asked. Not one of the first. No?
No, you know that. We've been talking about this for a while, I feel like, and then we found a date, and I totally forgot about working and everything, and it got so screwed up. So I appreciate your patience, and I super appreciate you being here.
No problem at all. I couldn't let all the others have the fun. Although I've got to say, man, the last episode of this, you had Roscoe, Comics with Roscoe, and that guy is just the nicest human being I think I've ever witnessed on my screen. And you're really nice. And then before him, you have Andy, who is really nice. So I feel very obliged to be a nice human being during this. And I gotta say, it's I'm already finding it hard.
Okay, well, hey, you'll however you want to do it, man, whatever you want to say. You know, it's so funny. I love having you guys on because
naturally I'm a prick, Nick.
Okay, hey, listen, so am I. So the fact that you think I'm nice, I love that. Roscoe is a super good dude. And that's what I love about doing this, man. It's so much more about everybody else and how where you came to be. And I don't know if anybody knew any of that about Roscoe or Andy, Charlie, any of them. So it's super cool, and I'm excited to have you guys here.
I forgot you had Charlie on. To be fair, that kind of levels out the playing field in terms of
there you go.
This ratio. So,
yep, there you go. That's funny. All right, let's say hey real quick. We have Hydra Collectibles. What's going on, man? Thanks for joining us. Appreciate you being here. The Origin of Origins, Andy. What's going on, brother? What else we got? Saying hello.
That's it. That's probably it, Nick. I don't bring a crowd.
And all right, yeah. They see he's right. Save the best till last, man.
There you go.
And second,
like a really irritating cherry on top.
That's funny.
Full of artificial colors.
Ben Compton, what's going on, man? Thanks for being here.
Is that a joke? Because my name's obviously Crampton, isn't it? Ben Crampton. Who is this guy?
That's so funny.
I'm filing a trademark issue right now.
Good. This is it. You got to get it out there. I love the logo, by the way. Aggressively Relaxing. What's up? How's it going? Thanks for being on. So if you guys have any questions for Ben, I know I'm opening a wormhole having Andy here, but if anybody wants to ask Ben anything, we'll include some of your questions along the way. So we'll be prepared for everything. All right. You ready to get started, my friend?
I'm ready. I'm ready. I don't know whether you are, because off camera, guys, Nick basically admitted that he nearly slept through this whole situation. No, to be fair, Nick, I feel very bad because you told me obviously you got caught on a night shift. So to follow a night shift interviewing the Attention Seeking Geek, that's no mean feat.
Thank you. I'm very. I honestly am so excited to have you here. I feel like I always laugh when I have you guys on, and I can hardly talk. I feel like this is going to be another one of those. So
that's set the expectations far too high.
All right, man. Let's do this. So, how did your love for comic books begin?
So my love for comic books kind of stemmed probably from, if I'm going to go way back. Mm-hmm. I'm going to go back to the Batman 1989 Tim Burton films. I used to watch those films as I was I think I was 8, 9, 10, I don't know. In my grandpa's, he had a little den. My grandparents lived out in Spain my whole life, and he had this little den, and it was I bloody hate the sun. So it was so lovely, this little cold den, and he had all his books in there, all of his artwork, and movies. And one of those movies that I just used to watch on loop over and over again in that den was the Batman 89, but probably. Yeah, the second one. I think I actually watched that probably more with Penguin and Catwoman. But I was fascinated by that, so that kind of hooked me into Batman, and then I guess from there it was it kind of snowballed into like comic books and just that kind of world of obsessive geekiness, really. Other than that, I think I probably kind of the next stage was probably like when I was like, I don't know, 13, 14, and that was Fox Kids. So I don't know. Okay. Do you have Fox Kids over there? Or I guess it's just Fox, isn't it, over there?
Yeah, now it's just Fox. We used to have Fox Kids, but it also used to be there's something called like WB Kids. I think that's where like all of that stuff aired.
Okay, yeah. So we had Fox Kids over here, and I actually couldn't usually have that channel because it was like a Sky channel that you had to have your subscription for. And I grew up with like single mum, in the slums of Bedfordshire. But for one year, we lived with my great auntie, and she had Sky, and it just like blew my mind. We used to be able to watch wrestling, so I never used to be able to watch that, but I could watch wrestling. And yeah, Fox Kids, we just watched all the time. So it was like Digimon. And all that good stuff, but it was the X-Men cartoon and the Spider-Man cartoon that really kind of I took a shining to, and I guess that mixed with the kind of Batman obsession that I already had, that was kind of it. Then I knew that this is kind of what I love, and I think with like most little boys like superheroes, it's just kind of, it is what it is, and little girls, sorry, but I think if you still like that stuff when you're like 16, then that's it. Then that's
absolutely.
If you're willing to sacrifice sex for Spider-Man, then that's it for the rest of your life.
Yeah, too funny. And
that exchange isn't for the rest of your life, by the way. I just like to make that clear.
No, I gotcha. Let's just say, let's just say, hey, what's up, Charlie? How's it going? Another member on here.
Here he is.
Really cool. I feel like a lot of people it was Batman because he's like one of the first superheroes to hit the big screen for like a long time. Besides like Superman, I feel like the old Superman was super corny compared to what we have today. So
I've got issues with Superman.
Okay.
I mean, it's just bland, isn't it? If Superman were a color, he'd be like, I don't know, beige or something. For me, I think I've always been drawn to like character conflicts, and ultimately I think that's just a better story when the characters have conflict. So with Spider-Man, it was the conflict of like managing his teenage life and relationships with like Aunt May, MJ, and all of that stuff. And then the Hulk, it was like the conflict was that he didn't want to be the Hulk, and it was a monster that he had to contain. Right. I mean, I could go on, but Superman never had something that he was really kind of hitting against, and I think just the kind of the powers as well. Like I like one power at a time, guys. And Superman just kind of he just has it all, doesn't he? I think I just secretly resent people that are good at everything. He's like if a jock were a superhero, it would be Superman. Superman is the jock of the superhero world, and I hate because they bullied me because I'm shit at football.
That's a good point, though. I think you're right. It's hard to like look at him and think like, oh, he's got all these issues when he's just hiding his identity. But he was also one of those people who like his face didn't change when he went into Superman costume, so it made it hard because like people don't do this, like people don't realize.
That's one of those like elements to like an old like 1950s comic book that like they should have sorted that in like the 60s or the 70s as like storytelling was maturing. Like I'm sure at that point someone went, guys, I think that you'd recognize him. Right. I don't think the curl and taking off the glasses is enough. But like it's almost like they went so far without that, and now they've gone too far. You could never retcon that element of the story.
Right.
It's It's rubbish.
No, absolutely.
Superman.
Just say hey to another person. What's going on, Nick? Never enough Nick.
I just lost you all your Superman subscribers, by the way. Like,
that's funny. Superman was one of the recent drops I took off my pull list, to be honest, which kind of hurt my heart, but it happens, you know.
He'll never forgive you.
Yeah. What's your favorite memory of comic books?
Favorite memory. So I brought along a book that kind of pinpoints like the start of it all. So this was a book this isn't like the original book that I picked up when I was 13. I actually purchased this in recent years as like a pure nostalgia purchase. So this is kind of like a UK reprint, where in the UK what they'll do is they'll kind of get like a handful, like 2 or 3 comics, and they'll put it into one. And I'll always remember this because it came with the Cyclops X-Men movie trading card.
Very cool.
Which again was like a massive turning point, I think, for me in terms of like my fandom and stuff. So I just will always remember going out and picking this up from like the local off license. I don't know what you would call it, grocery store, or something. Full screen Ben. That's the only kind of Ben that the world needs. But yeah, so. This holds a lot of memory for me, actually. So I thought I'd bring that along.
Yeah, that's really cool. Is that like the first comic book you ever purchased, or no?
Yeah, I think it probably is. Like, so I also brought this along to educate you, Nicholas, because so in the UK we have like an institution, and it's known as the Beano.
Mm-hmm.
So have you heard of like Dennis the Menace and stuff?
Oh yes, I've seen the movies.
Yeah, and well, that doesn't count.
Yeah.
That's not Dennis the Menace. How dare you? I've seen the movies. But Dennis the Menace is really like a British institution, and he's like, so they were just kind of like, they were weird. They were almost like newspapers rather than comics. And they were like and it was all like comedy, you know, really kind of cartoony style stuff. And the character of Dennis the Menace is basically just the greatest little shit of all time. And I remember I remember reading those when I was very, very young. But yeah, it was probably this book here that was like really kind of the start of like reading what, you know, the same sort of stuff as what I would read now. And I love this as well because it's got, if you can see there, Sandman.
Oh, very cool. Yeah.
Front and center with his Avengers. I love my Sandman. So I've like picked up all the keys where he appears with the Avengers and things like that. So yeah, love it.
Very cool. That's awesome. That's in such good shape too. What year is that from? Do you know?
2000.
Okay, very cool.
Yeah,
that's really awesome.
2000. 30th of August, which is only the month after my birthday as well, which is pretty cool. So maybe I went and got that with my my birthday pennies.
There you go.
I was probably richer then than I was now.
Andy's got a question. He wants to know who your least favorite member of the Killer Comic Show is.
It's Charlie, 100%.
And he loved the question, so firing them all off. Dank, what's going on, man? Thanks for being here. Yeah, there's never enough of us.
To be fair, I was going to shave, and I thought, no, I'm going to keep the Nick trademark, like, fluff at the bottom of the chin. That I was going to wear a cap and everything, but, you know.
Okay. It's funny, you know, Nick's Kicks has the full setup, like, and everything, you know, fairly mature, fully matured. I'll tell you this, I can't believe I'm saying this on screen. I'm 28 years old. I don't grow hair like anywhere but my head. It's so weird. So I take a vitamin and I put like growth oil. That's how I have this mess. It's unreal.
Right? Like,
yeah.
or is it like a condition? The way you said it was like that. Literally, is the only.
Dude, it's so weird. Yep, I've been tested for like, it's whatever. It's normal for my body apparently. So.
Well, that's an exclusive, ladies and gentlemen. Nick is ready to go down the slide. He's as streamlined as ever. That is giving me so many images of the elephant in my head.
Oh God. So I think we knocked out.
I get like a Superman V on my chest.
Oh, there you go. Nice.
And it's just like it's like a V. But the problem is, the fatter I get, it just sits in between my boobs.
Okay.
And the shadow is just making it worse, and the boobs are kind of getting like the cleavage is getting more, and the hair is not great.
Oh, that's so funny, man. Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, I have like 2 chest hairs and they fall off, so it's very weird.
Poor guys.
So who was your first favorite superhero, if you had to say? Let's start with TV.
It'd be Spider-Man, I think.
Okay. Did you watch The Amazing Spider-Man?
Yeah, yeah. So it was the Spider-Man cartoon. You know, it's weird, really, because he kind of, when you watch it back now, he's not really a teenager in that, is he?
Yeah. No, he looks a lot older, a lot more mature.
Yeah. But I still think those things that you love about, Peter Parker is that kind of vulnerability and the, he's just a mess, and he just gets it wrong all the time, and he's so kind of imperfect. It draws you to him, I think, as when you were a teenager. So, it was definitely Spider-Man back then. Yeah, for sure. I never related, I don't think, to Bruce Wayne's kind of life.
Yeah.
Whereas Peter Parker, you can see yourself in.
That's what I got, man. I'm getting sick of this.
I've got dad back now as well, so I'm starting, like, I've never had it, but like I'm starting to get these little fellas on my back, like just pop up, like, oh, hi there. So yeah, dad back. It's a real thing.
Yeah. Who was your first favorite superhero in the comic book world, would you say?
In the comic book world, I think because my entry was Spider-Man, I think it would probably have been Spider-Man back then as well.
Okay.
But it was a very quick transition for me into like the X-Men cartoon and the X-Men comics. And it's so hard. Like for me, like Spider-Man and X-Men comics, they've always been like the top for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was probably the X-Men that I think I think it's the X-Men that have always pipped it for me in terms of comic book storylines and what's kind of me in.
Gotcha. So are you an X-Men guy over an Avengers guy? Is that your team, you think?
Yeah.
Okay.
100%. Cyclops was right. I don't know. I think I think if you're going to kind of psychoanalyze it, like the X-Men were the underdogs. They were the they were the ones that were different, and kind of outcast for that reason. And I think I always related and was drawn to that a lot more. And I think just the variety of character. I think within the Avengers, you have quite a lot of characters in the older books, especially that they're very similar. They're very heroic and similar. Whereas in the X-Men, there was so much variety in character, and the characters are so flawed. Like Wolverine is such an asshole.
Yeah.
Like Gambit is a sleazy bastard.
Yeah.
You've got Rogue. She's a hothead. She's got temper issues. You've got Cyclops, who's like a stiff, like, do you know what I mean? Like someone shoves a pineapple up his arse or something. Like the variation just always kind of like, I love that. Nightcrawler, with his kind of virtuistic, religious and stuff. So I think I just kind of, I found that more interesting.
Yeah, no, I think it was almost like the Avengers went in as like a team. The X-Men, it took a long time for them to develop that, It's like they didn't want to work together.
Yeah, it was a reluctant, and I think it's the same for so many things and so many families that your family, all you have in common is that you're family. Like, you don't actually have things in common. And the X-Men are the same. Like, they don't necessarily have things in common. The thing they have in common is this gene, you know, this mutant gene. And that's what makes them a family rather than a team, I think.
Yeah. You know, I think it's so clever, like how many ideas they come out with the mutant and everything. So that's funny.
Do you know what? They're just sat there like trolls, typing away, little keyboard warriors.
That's funny. You know what's cool about this comment?
I'm going to remember all these little quips that they're giving.
It's funny that Dang Comics, there's a whole generation of people now that can't even fathom the idea that Iron Man wasn't a big deal. And what's really cool about this, I don't know if you guys have seen, I have Ben's link in the description. He started shooting videos on like the origins of these people, and that's what I watched last night at work, was the Iron Man one. So,
absolute play. Thank you, sir. That was well planned, wasn't it?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, Iron Man's, and I discuss it in my video. You know, it is he was obviously known to comic book fans, but I think ultimately he was not the poster boy of Marvel that he is now. And it's interesting, isn't it, with like the Eternals trailer coming out the other day and stuff. Like, it, you know, even to comic book fans, the Eternals, it's like, right, okay. But then, you know, Guardians, people might have said that about Guardians. I'm a massive fan of the War of Kings storyline.
Okay.
When they kind of like rebooted the Guardians with like Rocket and stuff.
Yeah.
So I kind of was already on that hype train a little bit, and then they announced the film and stuff, and everyone's kind of got on board now. But I think it was a similar thing. You know, they weren't front and center.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the joy of like Marvel, is that lunchbox is always changing. Who's on the front is always changing.
Yeah.
You know, and even to the point where like a few years ago, they didn't think they had the rights to the X-Men.
Yeah.
So like the X-Men like disappeared from every bit of like promotional stuff, like calendars and things like that. And then now they've got them back. They're like, oh, come back, take us back. So yeah.
Too funny. So would you say that Spider-Man is still your favorite superhero?
Man, don't ask me these questions. It's hard because I think I'll always love Spider-Man. And I think the character is evolving as time goes by. And the kind of next stage of evolution for Spider-Man, I think, is Miles being Spider-Man. Miles kind of sums up everything I loved about Spider-Man at the beginning in a new character. You know, he has that kind of goofy, naive ability. Ben is literally saying what? But yes, because Luke, Hydra Collectibles is the oracle of everything geek, and I copy everything that he says and does because he is the master. He knows it all.
That's funny.
Honestly, these guys do you know what? Turn the chat off.
Yeah. Block them out.
No, I forgot what I was saying now. Spider-Man. I think Miles is the new Spider-Man because he has that kind of goofy naiveness, that kind of juggling the teenage issues and all of that stuff. So I will always love him, but Colossus is probably, I want to say favorite, but it is hard because I do love so many other characters. But put it this way, I've kind of got two favorite characters, and they're both X-Men that kind of represent like different elements to my personality. So Colossus is like everything I want to be but will never be.
Yeah.
Like
gotcha.
He's kind, he's generous, he's kind of loving and caring. He's so big and strong, and you know that he just kind of represents everything that I would like to be that I don't, that I do think I struggle to be, sort of thing. And to be honest, I don't think I'd like Colossus in real life. It'd probably annoy me because he's just so goddamn perfect and nice and lovely, and he's a fantastic artist. He's a great big brother. Like I'm a big brother. I think over the years I've just always been drawn to him as a character just for being so goddamn lovable. On the other hand, My other favorite character is Quentin Quire, aka Kid Omega.
Okay.
You know the little shit with pink hair in the X-Men?
Yeah.
Have you seen it? Yeah.
Now that you say it,
So
yeah.
that is how much I love him. I have a tattoo that represents Kid Omega there.
Very
He is kind of all of the maybe negative sides of my personality. He's kind of anarchaic and, speaks before he thinks and, kind of fights the establishment. And I don't know. I think I'm always been drawn to those kind of punk characters.
Yeah.
It's a very weird top two, but it's Colossus and Quentin Quire.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, very cool. I like that. I like that there's like a character that like not a lot of people will know, and I love the tattoo idea, by the way. That's amazing.
Well, the flame is behind it because he inherits the Phoenix Force down the line. So there's a part of one of my favorite runs of books ever, the Wolverine and the X-Men. He meets a future version of himself. And by that point, he's kind of fully become a hero, and the Quentin Quire currently is kind of coming to terms with that, like, because he started off essentially a terrorist, within the school and things.
Mm-hmm.
And anyway, that future version has the Phoenix Force, and it's like the coolest character design. Chris Bacallo on art gives him this like leather kind of two-piece, and it's got the Phoenix Force logo on, and he's obviously got his pink hair still, and it just looks awesome.
Very cool. That's awesome. What's going on, Gray Man? Thanks for coming in. Just catching up on some comments. 5 years, we will live in a world where little kids will have Eternal shirts. Probably.
I love that name. I've never seen that name. That's fantastic.
Too funny.
Especially relaxing. Ben is the new king of the UK comic book community. I just was sick in my mouth.
Apart from when he kills Riptide, was it?
Yeah. Look, okay. Quentin Quire is very flawed. Very flawed. And again, it's like being drawn to those kind of characters. And you know what? Like, everyone's murdered a little bit in comic books at some point.
Fair.
Everyone's done a little bit of the murder. Just a little bit.
I went and got
Juggernaut as well, and Juggernaut has like flirted with that kind of hero thing, but it's like ultimately, he's like a mass murderer.
Yeah. AJ, what's going on, brother?
I'm just thinking for the YouTube names, to be quite honest. Like, keep them coming.
That's funny. Yeah, it's so funny because I didn't know most of your names.
The answer to that question, Luke, is yes. There is a period within the Uncanny X-Men where he does rock. I think the future version of him actually has like a beard and stuff.
That's true. This is a good question too because we don't know. It's 1 o'clock. I ended up working a lot yesterday like an idiot and woke up late. Is there a cosplay Ben has?
Have a sip of that, mate.
Yeah, there you go. That's what I need.
Other drinks available. Is there a cosplay Ben hasn't done yet and can't wait to do? Oh gosh. Look, I'm currently not the shape I want to be. Okay. So there's always kind of costumes that I want to do and stuff. And ironically, it's like with the cosplay stuff, I've put together about 10 different costumes during lockdown. I don't bloody fit in any of them now. Gotcha. I was working on this Fiend WWE Bray Wyatt Fiend cosplay, and I was so proud of it and everything. And I barely bloody fit in the stuff now. But yeah, I'd like to kind of properly rock that out and about.
Very cool. That sounds sick. Big Fiend guy. He was saying that Colossus killed a martyr. Crazy.
Gray Man is like, if you want little nuggets of any kind of comic book information, Gray Man drops that nugget. Like, he's the Gandalf of this community.
He really is. He knows it all. He's a good dude. Do you own any statues or figures?
So I've kind of got 2 cabinets like behind the camera here.
Okay.
The cabinet has kind of helmets, and I've got like Boris Karloff, Frankenstein's monster mask,
very
my
cool.
mask and stuff. But this one, I'll grab some stuff.
Sure. Yeah, take your time. Put you on the big screen again.
Speaking of Colossus, this is quite a recent purchase. So this is the Diamond Select Colossus statue, which is inspired by Uncanny X-Men 122.
That's really sick, man.
Yeah, this is my baby now.
Oh, yeah.
So I was really happy to pick that up. I actually made a video on that, so if anyone wants to watch a man ramble about Colossus for
very cool,
head over. But I collect a lot of 1/6 scale figures.
Okay.
So kind of like Hot Toys, but Hot Toys are really expensive, so I tend to kind of get the knockoff company ones and stuff.
Okay.
But this is my Jim Carrey mask.
Very cool. I saw you. I just noticed you have a tattoo of that too, right?
I do. Yes. Yeah. There you go. Matching. Twinning. So yeah. Sorry, everyone, if you've just seen the sweat under my armpit. But yeah. So I love my like 1/6 scale stuff. I'm working on collecting like a Men in Black kind of trio. So this is Boris.
Very cool.
From Men in Black 3. Will Smith arrived the other day. I've got Frank the Pug as well. And then I've got Agent K coming. But when Agent K comes, he's the Josh Brolin version, which kind of fits in with the Boris thing from Men in Black 3. But look, you've got to have Tommy Lee Jones, haven't you? So I'm going to buy a little replacement head and stuff like that. But to be honest, I think with collectibles and things like that, man, it's such a slippery slope. Like,
yeah.
So like my dad recently was going to give me another glass display cabinet, and I was like, Dad, don't, because then that means I have 4 new shelves to start 4 new collections. And I'm really OCD. Like, your room is giving me a bloody twitch, Nick.
Yeah. My room is so small, and I just don't. I need a comic book room, dude. I gotta buy a house.
But like, I'm really OCD. I'm like Monica from Friends OCD.
Okay.
So, like my shelves have to have like just one thing there, and it has to have a clear theme kind of going along it. So like, yeah, like this one, this side is all mask now, and this side, it's very clear. It's like the mask has this shelf. Then I got Nightmare Before Christmas. Got a little Nightmare Before Christmas doll thing.
Oh, very cool.
The Men in Black shelf, and then Colossus at the bottom. So
that's
it limits me as well. It stops me now, my OCD, from like getting more. And behind me, I've got my villain corner there.
Yeah, that's how I saw your videos from yesterday, right? That's Modok.
Yeah. So you should watch the video. So there's a Thanos, a Modok, and a Kingpin, but that's it. There's only 3 shelves, so I can't get any more. What else have I got? Yeah, I've got my Mikey. So Mikey, again, it's like these are like 150 odd quid a pop. So I bought a shelf, but only big enough for Mikey because I cannot afford, unfortunately, to get it.
It's unreal. Charlie said
maybe this one last squirrel.
Yeah, that's amazing. Is that hard? Is it like a plastic?
Yes, yeah, he is hard.
Very, very cool. I've gotten so back into Pokemon in the last couple of weeks. That's amazing. Where'd you get that?
So this is from China, and they're quite easy to get. To be fair, like if you go on like AliExpress, there's like
eBay,
like it's like a Chinese eBay or whatever. AliExpress, and I mean I actually got that from eBay, but they do. In that size, like, life size, they got Pikachu, Bulbasaur, Charmander. I think there's a Jigglypuff one and a Psyduck one.
Very cool.
But I really want a Marrow.
Okay.
I want like that size, but a Marrow, because that's like one of my favorites.
Very cool.
But yeah, I kind of wanted. I quite like the idea of getting like life-size stuff that looks like it's like leaped from the screen. Like my Toy Story collection.
Yeah, so Charlie was just saying. That's so cool.
Like all to scale, like how it's supposed to be in the films, which again is good because it kind of limits me from just getting any old Toy Story paraphernalia.
Yeah.
But it's also quite expensive.
Yeah, no, I can't imagine. That's really, really neat. Very well done.
There you go.
Also, how many Toy Story tattoos do you have? Just the one with the alien, or?
Yeah, I've just got my alien for Toy Story. Again, with like tattoos. Excuse me. I've got so much stuff I love. So it's like
the can of worms I opened doing this show, bro.
I love that he said ex-hamster. Like he could have gone with that gag. He could have gone for like the cliche, like Pornhub,
yeah,
or you know, PornTube or something. And he's gone ex-hamster, which just proves how much of a dirty old man he is.
That's funny.
But yeah, no, with tattoos, I love so much stuff. So I kind of try and encompass as much fandom as I possibly can. So I kind of limit to like one thing per fandom. And this is like good guys. If you like your Pokemon, I've got Onyx there.
Oh, that's sick. Very cool.
He like wraps around my arm.
That's really cool.
But yeah, so this is like bad guys and this is like good guys.
That's awesome.
And then if I, lose my boobs one day, I might do like anti-heroes on my chest. Like
nice.
Right there and
very cool. Yeah, I have like a Marvel sleeve going on my leg, but my next tattoo, I'm not even kidding, is it's gonna be one of the aliens, but I think it's gonna be in like a Doctor Strange suit. Like I own, like right there, is the giant Woody of the Alien remix, and then my brother and his girlfriend are the coolest people I've ever met. They love shopping for me, so they got me from like the Disney store. Like it was like 12 of these.
Yeah, yeah.
I think I'm gonna do it with. I think it's gonna be Doctor Strange. I haven't decided yet.
That's so random. I'm all for it.
Yeah,
because I love the idea of like being the only person potentially in the world who has that tattoo. And yeah, Killer Comics would definitely qualify under that. Yeah, like I love that idea. So you getting a Doctor Strange, little green man alien from Toy Story that's pretty unique, man. I like it.
Thank you. So where are these guys going, on the villain side or on the hero side?
What I would probably do is like Andy's the good guy, isn't he? Do you know what I mean? Like to the point where it makes you sick sometimes. So Andy would go on the good guy, Charlie 100% bad guy, and then Tom's kind of that like I think he kind of sits in purgatory sometimes. So I think he wants to be more of an asshole, but then naturally is a nice person. So he'll maybe sit in my cleavage.
That's funny.
I'll have him like holding my man boobs up like
there
that.
You go.
And then maybe Andy can be like on one boob and Charlie can be the other boob, and it's like that.
That's funny. This is fair. He's got a good point right here. Charlie's comment is amazing. I'll pull it up. I probably shouldn't. This will probably get deleted. You guys are amazing, man. Do you remember which one the first figure you bought was, or statue?
I think Toy Story wise, like it started with a Woody that I bought from a charity shop that I bought cheap just to do. I did a Sid cosplay from Toy Story.
Oh, nice!
So I had fake, braces and everything, and I took Woody and tormented him, and I made a Mrs. Nesbit out of a like really cheap Buzz Lightyear as well.
Very cool.
But which Hydra Collectibles now owns. So proud owner. But yeah, probably Woody. A lot of stuff like I've been picking up a few bits during lockdown because I'm not paying for my train fare to work, so I've treated myself from time to time. But I've reached a point where I'm kind of done. I think I'm happy and kind of content with things that I own. And once Agent K comes, that's the Men in Black stuff done. Like I might pick up another couple of Nightmare Before Christmas stuff, but again, that's like part of a strict collection for me of the few stoles.
Right. So it's gonna be something you really, really want at this point.
Yeah, I think so. And like the helmets and stuff like that. I think the only time I'll kind of pick that up now will be for cosplay if I'm doing a cosplay or something.
Cool. That's awesome. Do you have a favorite figure that you own?
It's probably now that
The
Colossus.
Colossus, yeah, awesome. That's what I
Yeah,
figured. Very cool.
It's filth.
Okay. Of all the platforms that like people use for social media, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, are you on all of them? Do you prefer one of them over the other? You know, what do you use all of them for?
So I'm not on Twitter anymore because I love the sound of my own voice more than Donald Trump, and I feel like my relationship with Twitter could have got very bad.
Okay.
So I came off Twitter a long time ago.
Okay.
Facebook I kind of keep, but it's like just for like I'm part of I'm doing a pantomime next year, so the pantomime like groups on Facebook and stuff. I don't want to be on there anymore. Like Facebook stopped being fun when like your weird like racist cousins joined and like your mum starts liking everything and you know it's just not really a place I want to be anymore. So I don't really use that, but I am on there. So Instagram is kind of my, and obviously YouTube, but Instagram is kind of my place now. But I think Instagram for me is it's a brand, rather than you know, it's not Ben Crampton, it's the Attention Seeking Geek. So I to be fair, my sisters have made a couple of comments like, we just don't get what you're posting. And it's like, well, it's not for you, bitch. Yeah, so it's Instagram now. That's kind of my go-to.
Okay, very cool. And obviously, you use YouTube to post, you know, all your own content and everything, which we'll kind of get into as we go into these next questions. All right.
Yes, indeed.
Hold on, Hydra. I got to get you on here too now. He keeps saying he's done with figures, but those 112. NECA keep going.
Yeah, to be fair, NECA are releasing a Boris Karloff Frankenstein's monster, and I really want that.
Okay, there you go.
I might buy that. I might keep. It might be the first figure that I keep in the box because the packaging is so beautiful by NECA. They do that like kind of window at the front that you can close. So I might buy that, and it might be the first one I keep in the box and put it next to my. I'll show you my mask. So I got the Trick or Treat Studios Boris Karloff mask. So I might like have it next to that, and yeah.
Very cool. That's awesome. That's really clever. What's your favorite part about the comic book community?
Absolutely nothing. I struggle with no. You know what? I can be myself.
Yeah.
It's like the way I'm talking to you now. I'm having so much fun. You know, I can say like the nerdiest shit about Quentin Quire, and you don't watch me.
Yeah.
You don't. You know, and we all do it. We go to work Monday to Friday, and I can't be I'm not myself. You know, and even like to the point where it's like family parties or whatever. You know, it's. So I really feel like I can be myself on these streams and chats and stuff like that. The kindness is unreal. Like, and it's hard for me because I'm naturally not very. I don't know. I'm not a very good team player.
Okay. So
I think like it's just blows me away how generous people are and how kind people are with like AOKs and things like that. So yeah, I think that's probably my favorite part about the community. But at the same time, I think, you know, we are just on YouTube talking about comics, like chill out. Like some people like just take it too seriously, and you know, tribes kind of emerge, and it's like it's nonsense. You know, sometimes it does sometimes become a bit of a playground, and I think we need to just step back and go, yeah, we're just talking about comics. And also, like most of the guys in our community, it's not like we're on, you know, 30,000 subscribers.
Right.
Like people are fighting for 1,000 subscribers, you know, which is a drop in the bloody ocean for YouTube. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I think sometimes, yeah, we need to just have fun with it where we can, and yeah, not care so much. But I love it. I just feel like I can be myself. And on Killer Comic Show, it's like like we've kind of like found our click now, and it just feels so good. It's just so fun. It's not, it doesn't feel like a chore. It's just something that we all look forward to every single Thursday now.
Yeah,
it's pretty fair to see it, Andy. That's it.
Yeah, I was just about to say it's something you look forward to now. I don't really look forward to going to work every day, but I look forward to doing things like this.
I was buzzing for this all day. You weren't looking. You were sleeping.
I was sleeping. You woke me up. I like Ben buying new stuff. His storage space remains the same, so I get to buy whatever gets cast out. That's funny. Oh, damn. What's going on in the Nerd Herd Comic Book Club? Thanks for coming in. That's not a question to use anymore. Do you remember the first post you put on Instagram on your Attention Seeking Geek page?
On the page it is now, it was kind of like a retrospect of my cosplays. So I just kind of flooded my Instagram. I did like 3 or 4 posts just of various cosplays that I'd already done that I was kind of particularly proud of or whatever. So yeah, it was cosplay stuff.
Okay, very cool. Is that what you were initially going with when you started that Instagram page? Did you think you were going to just stick to that? Did you think you were going to go comics also?
I think when I joined Instagram, I wasn't coming into it. I kind of already, like, I know it sounds weird, but I kind of already had a bit of a brand, so to speak. Because my YouTube was going for probably about 5 years or so, kind of before all of this nonsense. And I had like a radio. I used to do like local radio. So cool. My channel used to be called Straight Out of Crampton, and that was my thing. Okay. So I kind of joined, with that all kind of being plugged and stuff. And yeah, the cosplay is just kind of part of me, really. So I just thought it was cool just to kind of join and just kind of showcase that stuff. Nice. And, well, yeah, do what I do on the tin, which is try and get attention.
There you go. Too funny. Do you remember what the first video you put on YouTube was?
So I joined YouTube initially, and I started it was a comedy love vlog.
Okay.
So I met my wife on a TV show here in the UK.
Oh, no way.
On a dating show that it's called Take Me Out. If anyone has watched it in the chat, then I've immediately lost respect for you. So it started as kind of a joke from that, because when I went on that, I definitely kind of, I did it as a character, it was a bit of a laugh, kind of a bit of a joke gone too far. And people were actually really nice. Like, I thought I'd get trolled to high hell. But I think it was only one celeb that said, oh, here comes Augustus Gloop coming down the love lift. So it was only one celebrity that trolled me. Everyone else was like really nice. And I think like the kind of general public almost like bought into that character a bit and kind of thought, oh, look at this like bloody virgin. Like, and kind of, we're really sportive. So I thought I'm going to play on that. So I did this love vlog, and, I kind of almost exaggerated my character, and we did like, it was almost, have you ever seen Peep Show?
I don't think so.
No, so the Peep Show, they do it almost like a point of view thing. So it's like a point of view thing. So I'd kind of do things where I'd like talk to girls, and it would be like a point of view, and I'd set it up so the girl would like tell me to off, or it'd be like an awkward exchange. Okay. And then I would edit it to look like it was a real vlog and a real situation and stuff. Okay. So that's how it started. Anyway, you can't watch those videos now because they're all hidden. They're embarrassing. It evolved down the line, and I kind of joined up with a good old friend of mine, Jonathan Fisher, who is now a toy photographer. Check him out if you haven't. Okay. But he sort of joined forces with me and said, look, mate, like, I'll film it because I've got a better camera, and I'll edit it because I know how to, and you just kind of do what you do. We'll go to Comic Cons, and you can kind of do what you do, but at Comic Cons. So it evolved then to kind of being awkward interviews at Comic Cons, and back in the day, like it was great. We used to get celebs on, and like we used to kind of get away with murder. You just wouldn't be able to do the stuff we used to do now. So yeah, it kind of evolved into that, and then it wasn't till the pandemic when Hydra Collectibles, a kind of older friend of mine before all of this through cosplay, said, "Oh mate, like there's a whole community of like comic book geeks and stuff. Like you should do what you do, but like more comic book. Talk about comic books and stuff." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And yeah, the rest, as they say, is but a footnote in history.
Very cool. That's awesome. That's a really cool story about you and your wife. That's amazing.
Yeah, she said no on the show. So I chugged away for about 5 years, and eventually she sort of submitted, accepted defeat.
That's funny. Very, very funny. We need to get you on. I want to do the Thursday show so bad, man. My work schedule never works, but I have some time off coming up.
Yes.
He likes ASG better than he likes Straight Out of Crampton. I think this was about your wife and everything, which is pretty sick. Oh boy. Here comes the fire. Here comes the heat, bro. That's funny.
That would be telling. I unsubscribe people every day. I'm an arsehole on YouTube.
Yeah,
and I find it really hard. Like, the whole like, like for like and sub for sub. And I'm like, but my shit's better than yours. Like, I want to watch your stuff. But you subscribe to me, yeah, because my stuff's good.
That's funny.
Or Crampton. So it is written.
That's fair. Too funny. This is great, dude. So why do you choose to create content?
Like I could, say attention, and that would be the right answer. Yeah. But seriously, I think it was Robin Williams who is a big hero of mine, once said about how sad people like to make people smile.
Yeah.
And I am that.
Yeah.
Like I like to make people smile. I like to entertain people. It's why I started doing drama at school and went on to kind of do that at college and university and things. It's why I had a shot at stand-up comedy. It's why I had a shot at radio. It's why I'm having a shot at YouTube. Like I just like to make people kind of smile, and it's almost like it's what gives me energy. Like if I say something and it gets positive feedback or whatever, then that's like energy for me. I'm like I'll eat up that feedback, whether that feedback be a laugh, a giggle, or a comment, as it is on YouTube. So yeah, I think I like to make people smile, and I think my approach to YouTube and this community is it's very different. Like I'm a great believer that YouTube is an entertainment platform sort of thing. So it's like, for me, this is a great show because it's a kind of hour and a half, hour, quarter chat, and that's a good kind of show, and that's a show,
Yeah.
Like, as much as I bloody love them, and I jumped on Sunday, the Spine Tick Boys go for about 8 hours.
Yeah, they're crazy.
And I think it kind of like there's a fine line, I think, with YouTube and stuff. Recently, I think more than ever, because of lockdown and because of how people are using it and stuff with StreamYard becoming so readily available, it's not a social media platform. Do you know what I mean? Like if you want to do if you want to have a social media thing, then just go on WhatsApp, or whatever. So I still like to think of YouTube as an entertainment platform, and I think my videos are very kind of produced, maybe, and I think, to be quite honest, I think they're overproduced for what comic book fans like. I don't think comic book fans like my sort of videos. I think they really buy into these like natural chats and things like that. So I think it's been a hard one, and I think I've been learning the whole time in the last year kind of how to kind of marry up my usual like sense of humor and video kind of production, like and but also kind of excel and be interesting to the community and kind of include the community as well, because I think, again, that's the other thing. Everyone in the chat, they like to feel included. They like to feel part of the video, even though they're not on the screen. And yeah, my videos don't do that. You know, it's me. It's the, you know, it's a kind of, it's a production sort of thing. So yeah, it's an interesting one.
Yeah, no, I think your answer is great though. I think you do make people laugh. I think you're great at it. You know, it's really cool now that I know more of your background too. It makes it so much better. But yeah, no, I think your answer is great, and I hope you enjoy what you do, because I enjoy what you do. So,
you know what? It's a lot of effort sometimes. For, like, as I said, I'm a fiend for that feedback, and like my ego is massive. Like it's bigger than my penis, and I need to kind of have that like feedback. So sometimes it is disheartening when you you go back and bloody read and study a Silver Age book, you know, research, you know, Jack Kirby and stuff like that. You then film the video, you then edit the video and upload it and do all the thumbnails and everything like that. Sometimes it is a bit frustrating when you're kind of like scraping like however many views in comparison to people just going blah 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 blah, and you know, and they're smashing it, and they're like absolutely smashing it, and you know, so I'm excited for the future, because I think the future will look different for me as to how it looks now on YouTube. But yeah, the future is killer. Put it that way.
There you go. I believe it. It's so funny. You mentioned before, like, you know, how the pandemic has kind of changed the platform itself. And I remember when I did my episode with Charlie, he mentioned that he really hopes that when everything is cleared up again, that people continue to do this, and that, you know, everyone sticks to their routines and everything, you know, even if they start going back to work. And I hope the same thing, you know, like my goal is to still stay on this schedule of being able to, you know, shoot these videos, and I'm trying to go 5 videos a week now, you know, but if I can stay at 4, you know, I'd still be happy with that. And, you know, I hope that the people watching still get to watch, you know, and stuff like that. So
I think it will stay the same. I don't think people will go back, and you've got to look at some people's jobs. I mean, my job, for example, I started this pandemic as a receptionist for a financial firm. So obviously I haven't been doing that. I've been doing like admin, working from home, kind of working as a shared service, you know, for all the offices and stuff. I'm looking now at that potentially being my job. Like forever. So, you know, I'll still be working from home, so I can still watch your videos whilst I'm working from home. Yeah. You know, and I think a lot of people are the same. Their situation has changed now. For the foreseeable, and yeah, like you take Killer Comics for example. Like we're just getting started now. Yeah. And Andy lives in Ireland. Charlie's in Croydon. Poor bloke. I'm here up north in the UK. Tom's in Birmingham. So that's the only way we're ever going to be able to do it anyway. And I think a lot of these like group YouTube channels, you know, people are from different places, and even more so in America, because your place is bloody massive. Yeah. So yeah, I don't think anything will change, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't think so either. That's what I hope, at least. Great Man said, I think a lot of channels with a lot of subs have like a pro edit look, which is very true. I find that it's so sad to say this. There's like 2 channels I hold up 3 fingers. There's 2 channels I really like to watch, and I never see them watching, commenting on anybody else's stuff, to the
Nick,
point.
I'm sat right here. Don't be so rude.
No, you know I'm joking. You know I'm not talking about you. But you know what I mean? Like, it happens, and it's like, oh, like you get, you know, 100 viewers, 50 viewers a live stream, and then, you know, I'm not asking for love in return, but like, you know, when I get there are people out there who only have time to post their own stuff. To me, that kind of bites, you know, like you guys do Killer Comics Show. You guys are always commenting on my stuff. Like, it's unreal. It's amazing. You know, like that's the love I want to see. So stuff like that.
I think we get behind the people we want to get behind, and I don't know, man. Like and I usually wouldn't like someone like you because you're just a nice kid. I would usually resent you, but there's something about you, man, that we just like and we're drawn to. And I think, the interviews you've had with Charlie and Andy and stuff have been fantastic. So I was chomping at the bit to come on and do this with you. And it's the same. I think, again, it's like I watch some people that, the quality might not be amazing, but their passion, their enthusiasm. Do you know what I mean? Like, let's take Greyman, for example. Like, and he won't mind me saying this. Like, it's not like his stuff is like polished, finished product. Like, but it's Greyman, and it's his kind of infectious like knowledge and kind of the way he presents when he's talking about comic books is just like, I just want to watch that sort of stuff and those sort of personalities. So I think you watch who you want to watch, and it kind of doesn't matter how all this looks. It's about them and about what they do. So.
Right. And I think Greyman is a great example of what you mentioned earlier about how, like, you do this because it's who you are. It's what you like to, and I think he's just another perfect example of it, 'cause it's like, that's Greyman. Like, everybody knows, you ask about Greyman, like, you picture him in your head, you see it all right then and there, so I think that's perfect. What do you think has been like your biggest, push so far for getting content out?
I think my biggest kind of push and when I really went to town on like promos and stuff like that was my Red Nose Day event.
Okay.
So that was to raise money for Comic Relief and Red Nose Day here in the UK, which is a charity which, to be fair, the money kind of goes to a number of different amazing causes. And that's kind of what's so good about the charity. And it's something that I've represented before when I've hosted stand-up comedy nights and stuff for Red Nose Day in the past. And I was thinking to myself, right, how can I raise money this year, with everything that's going on? And like the idea came to do like a YouTube live stream and to auction off comics and stuff like that. And I just was blown away by the generosity of the community. Like, everyone kind of like sent me free books to auction off. I got slabs, I got, toys, everything. Like, and the success of that event, like, we ended up raising £700 for Red Nose Day.
That's amazing.
And that's thanks to like how much everyone kind of rallied behind me. And it was my first live stream, so I was like worried there was only be, Hydra Collectibles and Charlie in the chat, but they were even on the show. But no, we had people in the chat and we had people engaged in the auctions and stuff like that. And I'm really proud of it. And I think I'll forever be proud of that, actually. So
that's awesome. Yeah. Oh, it's something to be proud of. That's amazing. Very nice. It's an amazing thing you did. Very cool.
And I got dressed up as Modok, so,
Oh, there you go. That's fun. Give some shout outs, man. We're coming down to the end here.
So shout outs, written them down because I'm terrified. You know how you don't want to reel them off and then forget people, although even the ones I've written down, I'll probably forget people.
Yeah.
I mean, we've done it throughout the whole show, haven't we, really, with the Killer Comics crew. So my boys, Geeky Guy Comics, Perpetual Comics, and Not Quite Mint. So we go out every Thursday at 9 p.m. BST for the Killer Comics show. And those guys all do amazing stuff kind of independently as well. Tom even owns his own comic book shop. So if you want to buy comics, go to notquitemint.com. The man who broke me into this horrible community, Hydra Collectibles, even. So I want to give Luke a big shout out because, as odd as he is, he's been a great kind of guide throughout all of this. So thank you, man. Comic Deal and Noob over at Panels and Pints. They kind of fall in that clique of, Killer Comics and stuff anyway. Any kind of reprobates within the YouTube community usually kind of are drawn to myself and what we do. Great man. I get, we've obviously shouted him out in some detail there, but he really is fantastic. And it was when he came on your show and I made a comment like, "Oh, I'm one of your favorites, aren't I, Grey Man? Where was my shout out?" And he was like, "You don't watch my stuff. Why am I going to shout you out?" And I was like, "Oh, shit, man!" It like really cut me deep because I'd been quite bad. I wasn't really watching anyone. So I've made a point now to like watch Grey, as much as I possibly can. Obviously, for the stuff I'm interested in, I'm not going to watch his like headbanger stuff or Lovecraft stuff. It's the comic book stuff that I'll watch. But his stuff's great. MJ Comics, who are now back on YouTube after having a little ban. Jason Parker, those guys do a lot of CGC stuff. So not really my sort of thing, but they do an amazing job of what they do. And then just people like support Killer Comic Show and just like what we're doing in general. So like Fuzzy Dunlop is like, that tennis ball is everywhere. Firehawk, he's amazing. How much support he gives everyone.
Yeah.
It worked. Triple G Comics is another great supporter of stuff. He put some good videos out as well. Poptimus UK. Darren is a friend of Charlie's originally, who was kind of a pop vinyl collector and is slowly being turned to the dark side of comic books. And and that's really positive when you have people who are new to the hobby watching our show and learning from our show, amongst all the kind of idiot banter, like they're actually kind of taking from it. And that's really nice for us. And then I guess you guys in America, you there, Nick, Spine Ticks, those guys, you're mad, but they do really good work and are really smashing it as well. Rod the Recon has had me appear a couple of times, and that's really kind of helped bump my channel up, and just kind of get my face out there to some new people. And he continues to kind of do that work. That's a lot of like finding people under like 500 subs or whatever and giving them a little. And that's like a really nice service to do. He doesn't really necessarily get anything in return. Well, he does. He gets money now, doesn't he? He asks for money. But no, I mean, he doesn't get anything in return from those people that he's helping kind of push up. So there's just lots of nice people. So yeah, I think I've covered as many as I could remember anyway.
Yeah, no.
If I forgot you, there's a reason. Oh, fabulous.
Got you just in time, bro. That's funny.
No, I want to give Phil a shout out actually, because his videos are really cool, and he's like built this amazing man cave in his garden, and it's got really good room tour and stuff like that. So yes, very informative stuff.
Very cool. Do you have any goals for 2021? Whether it be like, you're looking for a sub count, are you looking for any grails, anything along those lines, content upgrading, hunting?
I'm kind of always in search of keys for Suicide Squad characters. So that's kind of my main collecting focus at the moment, is I'm picking up keys and first appearances of Suicide Squad characters. So I love the idea of taking a character like a really rubbish Z-list character, plucking them from obscurity and kind of reinventing them as they are doing for the films. And I'm so excited for James Gunn's film, like you don't know. So yeah, I've been picking up all the kind of keys and stuff for that, especially before it gets rinsed by the market, how it is at the moment. So that, comic book wise, that's kind of my main focus there. YouTube wise, once the Where It All Started series ends, don't worry, there is 4 episodes to go. Don't worry.
Okay.
I think my focus YouTube-wise will be Killer Comic Show.
Awesome.
So I'll be putting kind of all my energies and getting involved a little bit more into the kind of creative behind-the-scenes stuff as well. But I think, for a while we've been quite lazy and we've just gone to be like, Charlie, it's Charlie's channel. But it's a collaboration now. So it's a really exciting time. We're all kind of chipping in with different stuff and prepping different stuff behind the scenes and things. So Killer Comics world domination. That's the goal.
I'm loving it, man. When you guys had on Johnny Boy Myers, I got off of work at 3:30 that day. I live about 45 minutes from work. I made it home 2 minutes into the stream, ran in the house and turned it on. I was like, oh shit. It was too funny.
Yeah, first 2 minutes were rubbish, don't worry.
Yeah, no. This has been a really great show. Thanks so much, Hydra. I appreciate that, man. Like I said, message me on Instagram if you want. I'll definitely have you on. I think I have the rest of June booked, but we'll get to that.
If you get Luke on though, Nick, just make sure you set 3 hours aside because once he goes.
Yeah. All right, man. Last thing, talk about your channel. What you got going on?
So yeah, as mentioned, I'm in the middle of my Where It All Started series at the moment, where I basically take a look at the first appearance or first kind of key appearance of Marvel's most beloved characters. So it's a lot of kind of Silver Age goodness. This week, tomorrow at 7 p.m. BST, I will be posting my Incredible Hulk episode.
Oh, very cool.
I think might be my favorite that I've done, actually. I really enjoyed doing it. Like, I really enjoyed doing it. And then the day after that will be the Fantastic Four on the Wednesday, BST.
Oh,
we'll
nice.
have 2 more episodes this week. And then week after that, we've got Black Panther and Thor, which will round off the series.
Oh, awesome.
You can go back and watch the Spider-Man and Captain America and Iron Man and all that stuff. So,
and you have X-Men too on that, right?
And X-Men.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I forgot about X-Men. Yeah. Which I controversially did giant size X-Men, not X-Men 1.
Yeah, I saw that. That was cool. Well, I didn't watch it yet, but I saw. I ended up watching that Iron Man one 20 minutes into my shift at work at 4 o'clock yesterday, and then we got so busy, and then I got stuck doing the overnight that I didn't get to watch the rest. It was unreal.
You know what, Nick? HR will be in contact with you very soon about
I hope so.
Watching inappropriate content at work.
Yeah. Respect to Benny. It's the way to do it. All right, man. Anything you want to say before we sign off?
Gosh, that nearly made me cry, that comment. Not at all. I just want to, thank you so much for having me on. It's a real honor to kind of come on here. And as I said, we, like, as part of the Killer Comics crew, we're really behind you and everything that you're doing.
Thank you.
I enjoy watching your videos and stuff. And hey, as you've seen, that doesn't come lightly, that compliment.
Yeah.
But thank you very much for having me on, man. And thank you very much to everyone in the chat, whether they are my current friends or new friends or future friends. Thank you.
There you go. Yeah, thank you guys so much for hanging out in the chat. Ben, thanks for being so patient. Thanks for waking me up, by the way. That was key of the whole thing. Yep. And that was it. I was here. This was amazing. Another one I love to do, man. And I'm so happy to have you on. I'm trying so hard. I'd love to be on Killer Comics Show. I might just have to jump into it late one day if Charlie's cool with that, So we'll find a day and I'll get in there. So thank you for being here. I appreciate you taking the time out of your day, man, really, and explaining everything and what you do. So thank you.
Thanks for having me, bro.
All right, guys. You guys all have a good day. Stay safe. Enjoy. Oh, wait. One more thing. I always keep forgetting this. We've got to do the picture to end it all.
Oh.
The new segment. You want to hold something up? Or you just going with you? There it is. Ready? Hold on. All right. That works. Thanks, dude. All right, guys. Have a good one.
Take care.